What's happening, party people? I've just got a quick little lesson on Binance spot trading stop losses for you. The other day, I was talking to someone about stop losses and how you always want to use a market stop where it's available, because a market stop means as soon as price hits it, you are just out of the trade at whatever price the market has for you. And that's the thing. If a trade's going the wrong way, you just want to get out of it. So market stops where possible. When they're not, here's what you want to do. So we're going to take a look at IOTA. You can see this is my Binance spot trading account. I've got 220 IOTA. I've been holding them for years. Just waiting for them to hit the moon. You know it's coming one of these days. That's not financial advice. Please do not. Please do not go and buy that and then complain to me when it goes to zero, because that's where it's headed. But we'll see what happens. So let's say that I've just bought IOTA at 17.10, which is probably a lot cheaper than what I bought it for. I want to set my stop loss, so I come over here. I've either got OCO or stop limit. So we'll just use an OCO order today. I will show you the difference with an OCO toward the end of the video. It's just a quick little thing, but obviously there's no stop market, so we have to use a stop limit. So what we do is, let's say I wanted to use 1600 as my stop price. So we go 1600. So what that means is that when price comes down here and hits 1600, this will trigger my order. So your stop price, consider that your trigger price. When it gets hit, it triggers your stop loss. Your limit price is the price that your stop loss will be put into the book at. So let's say that I set this as 1650. Price comes down and hits my $1,600 stop loss. My trigger is hit, so my order gets slipped into the book at my limit price, which is 1650. Now, if there's people buying and selling at 1600, and I'm trying to sell at 1650, Binance isn't going to match that order. It's not going to fill that order until someone's happy to buy at 1650. So my order is just going to sit in the book waiting until hopefully price comes back up, and that might never happen. So this is the thing with stop limits. You run the risk of your stop never actually getting filled. So how I get around that is I would set it at 1590. I didn't get rid of a zero there. No, perfect. I would set it at 1590. How I get to that figure is I just have a look at the order book. You can see here that IOTA is measured in 1 sat increments. So, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. So I usually look at the order book and I go about halfway down it in terms of the gap. So let's say here I'd be going from 11 to 7. So that's a gap of 4 sats. So I'd probably actually set this at 1596, but for the sake of this example, I'd probably actually set it at 1595, to be honest. I like my round numbers, but we'll go with 1590 for the sake of this example. So what that means is if price gets to 1600, it hits my stop, my trigger price, and then that tells Binance that I want to slip my limit order at my limit price in at 1590. So people are buying and selling at 1600. My order comes in at 1590. I'm trying to sell. As long as there is any buyers above that 1590 mark, Binance will automatically give me the highest buy price available, which you'd expect it to be about 1600, maybe 1599. There are a few exceptions. So if something has really low volume, stops are filled in first in, best served. So say someone had their stop, their trigger price at 1601, and mine was at 1600, and they had their limit at 1590 as well, let's say, and they've got $1,000 worth of stuff they're trying to sell, and I've got $100. If there's only $1,000 worth of buys above 1590, they're going to get filled first because they were at 1601, so their order goes into the book first, and I'm going to sit there waiting. So this is the risk you run with stop limits, but unfortunately, it's the risk you have to run on Binance when you are spot trading. And same thing if the market is moving really fast. You see a big red candle on Bitcoin, that gives you a higher chance of getting skipped over because there is there's likely so many more stops getting hit, which means there's so many more orders coming into the book, which means that you do have a high risk of getting skipped over. Now, I say that, touch wood, I've never been skipped over. I've never had a problem with it. Hopefully you guys never will either, but it is something that is possible. It's something to be wary of. And then obviously I would just set, 100% of my IOTA. I want to get out completely. So yeah, so that's pretty much all there is to say about using stop limits and trying to use them as stop markets. This will essentially make it act as a stop market. Just the only difference is that slight risk of being skipped over or not having any buys above your price. Again, I've never come across it. To be honest, I only trade probably the top 50 to 100 volume coins. So maybe if you're trading things that are really new to Binance, you may run into that issue. It's just something you have to take on a coin by coin basis. So the other thing that I was going to show you was the OCO order. So OCO stands for one cancels other. You'll notice that, let's just say that I did put this on. I just want to make sure it's nowhere near price. We're all good. So I don't actually sell my IOTA. So if I've got my stop in here, you'll notice that Binance won't let me set a limit. So that was for 219 IOTA. You'll notice that Binance won't let me sell 219 IOTA at, let's say, 1900, because it's saying you don't have 219 IOTA because they're all tied up in my stop loss. Binance, the same way that the futures will let you set your stop and your take profit, or BitMEX will let you set your stop and your take profit, Binance spot trading won't. So how you get around that, we'll just cancel that one, is you come here to the OCO order, right? And so, like I said, that means one cancels other. So what it's saying is, here's your stop limit, right? Here is your price, which is essentially your limit take profit order. And so let's do the same thing again. So we've got, just paste that there and there. Right, so let's say that my stop was at 1600 and my limit was at 1590, and I wanted to take profit at 1900. So what this is now saying, and again, for 100% of my IOTA, I want completely out of this trade. What this is now saying is, if price comes up to 1900, I will sell it all. I'll take my profit, and my stop loss will be cancelled because it's one cancels the other. Same in reverse. If price comes down to my stop loss will be activated, and my take profit will be cancelled because one cancels the other. So OCO orders are the only way on Binance Spot that you can have a stop loss and a take profit set up at the same time. So they seem a little bit tricky, but once you get your head around it, they're not too hard. If you just remember, price is take profit, stop is trigger, that's really important, and limit is stop limit. I don't have a good analogy, probably not the right word, but I don't have a good replacement for what I call the limit. But if you remember stop as trigger and limit as limit, where your price goes in, you'll always be able to think your way through setting a stop loss. So that's good timing. I was about to wrap up anyway. So touch wood. Hopefully that helps you guys. Touch wood, you never get skipped over. And yeah, let me know how you go. If you've got any questions, sing out. Good luck.